Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shaira and I post planner and lettering videos on this channel. I have something new to share with you guys. These just came in for me. I know some of you might have received this already or have seen it. These are the Archer and Olive Acrylograph pens. So these are basically water-based markers. So they're acrylic. So they're paint markers, but they're water-based, which is very different. I think Posca markers are oil-based, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that because I don't really know paints that well. But that is just kind of like one difference. I know Posca markers are not water-based. So this would be super interesting. You can literally use water on this and it'll kind of spread for a bit. Not exactly like watercolors, that's at least the assumption, and then you can blend them pretty easily. There is a blending marker that came with this. So I picked up 3 sets of it. They come in the 0.7mm or the 3mm. When I was looking at this, I did pre-order this back in May maybe, so it took about 2 months to get to me. I know like COVID was a big factor. I thought it was gonna ship sometime in June, but it didn't get to me until the end of July, so just keeping that in mind. I don't know if it's still on pre-order or if they already have stock in-house. However, I'm super excited. I haven't used these yet. They're still obviously in the packaging. I'm probably gonna take these out because this is really big packaging for how many is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, for 10 markers, one being a blender as well. So I got 3 colors or 3 different sets here. So this is the tropical selection, super cute. I'll open this up in a sec. This next one is the primary selection, so that's just your basic kind of tone colors, and then this is the jewel collection, which is more like deeper tones, like mustardy fall tones. So I really love that. If you guys have been around, you know that I use Archer and Olive bullet journals. I don't know if I filmed in my Blackout journal, which I do use occasionally, but I do use a Blackout journal for them as well as a regular journal. Their paper is amazing. It's super thick and it doesn't bleed through, and so these markers obviously are made to also not bleed through the pages, so that's super great. But I'm just gonna open them up and then kind of swatch them in a little bit and maybe try doing a couple of things here and there with them. I'm going to just speed up this process and do a voiceover for you guys. But yeah, so this pack right here is the primary pack. I just opened it up really quickly. The packaging is also eco-friendly. There's no plastic in it. So it comes with 10 markers. All of the packs come with at least a white one, which is on the left, and then the colorless blender, which is on the right. It also comes with 2 extra tips, which I just pulled out right there, in case you need to replace any of the tips, which I'll kind of talk you guys through that a little bit later once I show you what I do with the art. But yeah, so technically all of the packs only come with 8 colors and then white and then the blender. So just keep that in mind when you do pick these up. This next box is the tropical collection. I love the colors in these. They're very pastel and kind of lighter colors, so I really like that. So same thing, 8 colors, mostly a couple of greens actually and blues, and then the white on the far left, and then the colorless blender on the right. So about the packaging overall, I really like that there's these little swatches on the actual pen which show you what the color looks like. It's a little closer to what the color actually looks like on paper versus the cover. And also the caps all have the Archer and Olive logo on it, which I think is just such a nice touch to the actual product. They aren't heavy pens, they're actually pretty lightweight. And when I used them, they felt way lighter than a lot of other markers I've used. I thought they'd be kind of as heavy as a mild liner, and it feels really light actually. So same thing here, they also come with the same tips. And then the last colorway is the jewel collection, which it does have more of these kind of fall tones, darker kind of tones there. Same thing again, all of these sets are similar in a sense that only the 8 colors change, but everything else that comes with it is exactly the same. So including the white, the colorless blender, and then the tips. So here I was just kind of examining the tips. It's really plasticky, and I don't know what material it actually is, but I thought the tip was not that big. It was relatively small, but not super small. Here's all of the sets kind of taken out of the packaging. Like I said, if you bought all 3, you would end up with 3 of the colorless blenders here. and then you'll end up with 3 of the white markers as well. So I'm just kind of going through looking for the white ones in there. A lot of these colors are actually somewhat similar, at least from looking at them from the markers, but once I did actually use them, they looked a lot more different. So I'm just going to jump into swatching these. I did swatch them on both white paper and black paper. I did use both Archer and Olive notebooks for both colored papers. I didn't get to try it too much on other papers, but I will show you later once I do art with it, kind of what it looks like. But overall, the colors showed up really vibrantly across both, and I'll just let you kind of see it pan out. So overall, that's kind of how it came out. Again, really vibrant on both types of paper. So I'm just going to go into really quickly doing some art here. The only other type of paper I tried it on was regular bond paper, and this right here is actually cardstock. So I'm really quickly just making a dashboard for myself for my A5 wide cloud. So just to kind of talk through my overall thoughts on the markers, I felt like the tip was a little weird, to be very honest with you. On one of these colors, which is the blue that I used for the drawing of the cloud, I messed up the tip really easily. So I think given that I do brush lettering very often, I was trying to hold the pen at a very slight angle, and I think I pressed too hard. So you can ruin your tips doing that, which it's very nice that they come with replacement tips. However, I think like for the most part, you should hold them at a very slight angle. If you do have to press down on it to get ink out, because you could do that to blend them together better, you should do it at a 90-degree angle. It says so on the box, and I think the only reason I messed it up was just out of like the muscle memory of holding markers. So it is very different from other markers, is what kind of my first impression is. It's similar to Posca paint pens in the sense that they are very opaque and they are paint-based, but I think the tip is just very different because the tip is plastic-ish. And so as I was drawing the cloud above this quote that I'm doing right now, I didn't realize that I probably ruined the tip until after I tried all of the other colors to draw again. So I did replace the tip on one of the blues that I got already. I really struggled coloring it in initially, to be very honest, and you'll probably see it in a little bit. But yeah, so if you ever have problems, highly recommend just, replacing the tip. And sometimes some of the other issues I had was that I didn't activate the color enough. So a lot of times you just have to shake the marker a lot more. That's one of Bonnie's biggest tips, to just shake the marker. And then if not, it's also an option for you to press it down at a 90-degree angle. Don't do what I did. Don't press it down at an angle. That's really what made it so that my marker tip would kind of get a little bit ruined. It still let paint out, but it was definitely a lot less than it should have. So here you'll see this one blue is actually fine. I shook it for the most part. And I kept kind of trying to reactivate it because I think it wasn't fully activated. Like the colors were coming through, but the tip wasn't saturated in color. But the other blue that I use in this spread, you'll realize that I just kept kind of having to shake it and stopping and going and trying to press it down at a 90-degree angle, not really knowing that I personally already ruined the tip, and it was probably just best to replace it altogether. Once I did replace it, it worked like a charm. It was so easy to activate, and it colored flat areas with single color. This is the marker that I keep talking about, but it worked out so well as soon as I changed the tip, and I just ruined it before kind of filming this part. So again, gonna let the music just kind of carry this away, but I'll come back in with my overall thoughts after. So that's the final piece, and for the rest of the video, you'll mostly just see me punching it out and putting it inside my planner. Overall, I think the ink on these markers are amazing, and they're really opaque, and they lay out flat colors super well. I do think there was just that whole snafu with the tip, which I kind of felt like was a bit more of a learning curve for me, just given the kinds of markers that I was used to seeing in the market. Overall, I do recommend them. I've been using them in my bullet journal a lot lately. So if I do upload like bullet journal setups or anything, you might see me using them. Yeah, so I think there is just a little bit of that learning curve. Overall, I think the colors that come with these sets are beautiful. I do recommend the 0.7 tip if you don't color big spaces very often. I am debating on picking up the bigger tips just because you saw me kind of color in a little bit more, but this might be like a one-off situation. I'll kind of use them a little bit more and see if I do want them. And I think like the color selection is really good, but there are a lot of blues and greens which kind of make sense to that overall Archer and Olive aesthetic of like plants and florals, etc. But yeah, overall, I definitely recommend these markers. If you're into art, if you're looking for more opaque markers to use in bullet journals or other types of art, they're super great and very different from other ones in the market. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you have any more questions about the product, let me know, and I'll try to answer them in the comments. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.